Hello guys, welcome back to the channel Multicode. So today we will be talking about the concept that is called array. Array is the collection of similar types of data, right? And what is this similar kinds of data? Let us suppose one student is there and he have number of subjects, right? And the subject have marks associated with it. So marks are the quantities that are similar in most of the subjects, right? Like out of 100 there are marks. So if you want to store those marks and if you want to calculate something on it, you need not to write a code again and again for each and every marks. You can do something that stores the collection of those marks into one variable, and then you can utilize those marks, right? So today we'll be talking that is called an array, the collection of similar types of variable. So let us start with something like integer variable, and hope you up to now know how to code in different languages. So let us start with, I guess, C++, and this is the code, default code. And now let us have some variable like int. Let's say we were talking about marks only, so let us take the marks only, marks, and the number of marks are suppose 5. Okay, we declared like this in C++. The syntax might differ in different languages, so let us concentrate on that as well. And for now what we need is to have the values for it, right? So like these marks have how many values? 5 values. But how to access those values? This is the thing, right? So let us print something first. Even you need to print for 5 times, right? So why not to print in a loop? So let us start a loop. Let us declare one variable I for it. For I equal to 0. Yeah, one thing need to mention is that array starts from index equal to 0. The one that is inside this square brackets is called the index, and it starts from 0 and it goes up to the n minus 1. For suppose n here is 5, so the index goes up to 4. So then what we'll do is I less than 5 and I plus plus. And now what we need to do is to print like /n, so that we get the new line, enter the marks, and let us put like I also here. Now this won't work, right? Because this I will be printed in the same fashion. We have like C out over here, and this I won't work. So how to do this? Let us put a square bracket over here and the value of I, and one more square bracket in the parenthesis. That will work fine. And now inverted quotes closed, and then this way. Now we need to have input for that value, right? So let us put cin and marks, giving the hint, and inside that marks give the value, index value, that is I, because we need the value to be entered in the same fashion. And for suppose now in the next loop you just want to print those values, let us start with printing, and then we can do a lot of manipulation on it, so you get to know what's the difference. So how to print now the values? It's approximately the same. Just put this in cout marks the, let us have the value of value of the marks I equal, and put it somewhat colon, and then marks, and then value of index I, and save it. And if you run it, I guess no error should be there. Okay, it's running correctly. Let us put value 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 5 values, and you can see on the first index, that is 0 index, you have the first value 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. So now you can see like it's working correctly. Okay, now let us do some manipulation on it. For suppose you want the sum of all the numbers, like sum of all the marks, and you want the average of it, right? So what you need to do is to, like, now assume at the starting point of view sum equal to 0, right? Because you don't have any marks over here. Then what we will do is sum equal to sum plus marks of I. This kind of programming we already did in last video tutorial. So what is this? Like for first value the sum will be 0, and whatever the value in the marks with the index equal to 0 will be added to the sum and will get saved in sum. And for the next time, this sum on the right hand side will have the previous value, and the marks will get the new value. So in that fashion each and every time, and at the last we will get the total sum. Okay, now from this we will get the sum. Now how to get the average? Average is pretty much simple. Average equal to sum divided by what? You want the sum to be divided by the number of values. So now we have the 5 subjects, so sum divided by 5. And now to print something, so let us copy this and paste it over here, and we need to print like the sum and the average. So let us print the sum first and sum over here, and similarly the average. So right now we are taking the integer value, but it can be converted to the float value as well, because the average might comes in decimal as well. So let us start with integer and we will change it to decimal on the next code. Okay, we need to declare this, so it's simple only. Save it, run it again, and now we want to enter some values. So let us enter 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So the sum is 15. The average is 15 divided by 5, that is 3. That is fine, right? Now why not to have like float value, like sum equal to float, and then average is also a float value, right? Save it, and if you run it again, it's not giving any error. And let us have a 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So now you can see the sum is 20. Okay, now we want something that is like doesn't have like the multiples of 5, that is 2 3 4 2 3 something. So how much sum will be? 6 plus 6, 6 plus 4 2, it's giving, and 4 again. So yeah, you can see the sum is 16 now and the average is 3.2. Why it's printing with a decimal value is because you have taken that is a float. So float can take a decimal values. Instead, for the same value, if you take as an integer, it will give 3. That's the difference with float and integer. Now you want to do some of the more manipulation. Now let us assume there are multiple students and we have the multiple marks. Now what you will do, you will calculate each and every individual sum and average with a different function. That's what you are going to do. Is that the correct way? No, right? So let us have like multi-dimensional array, like 2D array at least. For now, let us have like number of students equal to 3 and marks equal to 5. So what you can manipulate is like one loop for the students and one loop for the marks, right? So have the for loop for it. J, let us have a j variable for students, and j will have the same initialization like I equal to 0, j less than 3, j plus plus, and inside that you need to enter the marks, right? So let us assume like for the fun time you will print something. So what you will print is like cout enter the student marks, and which student marks you want is like you need to have that value for that. Student brackets inverted quotes, then j, then again and inverted quotes, and you want marks. Okay, this will be printing the same. So now we have the two loops and we have the marks inside that. Now we want the sum of each and every individual and the average of each and every individual, right? So now even the sum needs to be different for each and every student, right? So what you can do is that one more loop in the sum part also. Okay, let us assume that this loop starts and ends over here. It's having like 3 students, so it will be same. And now the sum, how can you make the sum also array? By like this. For like this you can make the sum also an array, and for each and every student, like for first students you want the sum for that, right? So let us assume j, like for the first student the sum will be calculated in j. For the second student the sum will be calculated in j equal to 0. For second student sum will be calculated in j equal to 1. For third student sum will be calculated in j equal to 2, right? So now the sum will be calculated, and then you need to print the average. So let us have a loop, or you can say that is much better if you start a loop, because let us have, because we want it only for 3 times and we have the same variable. So let us copy this loop, and now you want the average to be like this. So j equal 5, and that is sum for j student, right? So same type of thing, like for j student, and the sum was saved in sum of j, right? And average we calculated every time, so it need not to be like in an array. That is fine. For each and every time you are calculating the average and you are printing it, so it's fine, I guess. But the value of like 5, you need to enter 15 values. That is much bigger. Let us zoom it for only 2 subjects. So subjects, like, let us reduce down it to 2, because it's 5, you need to enter more values. So you can have the variable for it also, like assume some variable c, b or something. So rest all part remains the same. Let us save this program and run it. I guess error shouldn't be there. Okay, see in marks of I, why it's showing the error is that no operators. Okay, we forgot to put one more parenthesis over here. No, it's there. Why it's showing an error? Okay, we forgot the major thing, that is marks is a two-dimensional array, and we took it as 1D array, right? That was a bigger mistake. We shouldn't do this again. Like, it has a two-dimensional array. The first part runs for a student and the second part runs for a marks. So let us put I in the second part and j in the first part, and similarly over here we need to put the value of j over here and I over here and save it. And now I guess no more error should be there. Okay, sum you can't do like this, so how to do? So let us assume, like, for 0 we did like this. Okay, let us have the value initialization, and then we can have like somewhere over at the starting sum of j equal to 0, right? So it will be the same thing, and now no more errors there. It's showing the enter the value of student 0 and enter the marks of 0 with index equal to 0. So let us have that value of 2 and 3, and then again like 4, 2 and 4, and 3 and 4. So it's showing the sum, like 2 plus 3 gives the 5, 2 plus 4 gives the 6, and 3 plus 4 gives 7, and the average is like divided by 2 divided by 3 and divided by, okay, we did a mistake over there. Like, so now the average, we didn't reduce down the subjects, it's 2 only. So again save it and let us have like last run for this, like 2 and 3 and 2 and 4 and 5 and 6 suppose. So now the average comes out to be good, like 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, 6 divided by something, and 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. that is fine, right? Now let us close this. What more types of array you can have? Like, you can have any types of array, like string array, integer array, character array, Character array is somewhat similar to string, only just the difference is that string is like collection of characters that has the last value or doesn't need not to include that null character each and every time when you declare a string. But if you declare a character array and you want to have like it as a string, you need to have the last value as the null character, right? And now let us have the declaration in see the declaration, how's the declaration in different languages. So see, in the C it remains the same, only you can declare in the same way as that of C fashion in like C++, so it doesn't make a difference. Over here you can even have like same types of declaration. So let us talk about a Java. In Java we have somewhat different type of declaration, and what declaration is that we have like int and declare the variable for it like a, and then new and int, and inside that just have the values for it. And over here don't forget to mention the size of like array. In all C also we mention the size, and C++ also we mention the size, so why not to have them size over here? You want the size over here also, and this underline is showing because the variable has not been used. So let us not like write a same program in in Java also, just have the declaration part. And now let us show how to have the declaration in C#. So it's a simple like almost the same. You need only the thing is that int, and the same way that is in Java, that is int a equal to new int and whatever the number of values like 3 and then semicolon, that is fine. Now this is what the same declaration as Java. So that's all like for arrays. You can have the array for string that makes you a multi-dimensional like multi-line array. You can have like to store some different lines, write a page for it, so you can have the multiple lines array string over for that. It will be much helpful for you. And there are a lot of ways you can use those arrays. If you try to code by yourself, you will be on a lot of advantage when you will be using an array, because for the collection if you run the same code multiple times, that won't make a good sense, right? You need something that is much more effective and much more helpful for you. Thank you, hope you like this video, and make sure you subscribe the channel up to now.